Good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of SITREK Group, I warmly welcome you to the SITREK Cyber and Tech Summit for the year 2026. This summit brings together leadership from banks, finance companies and the top corporates in Sri Lanka to engage in timely strategic discussions on cyber and technology resilience. To formally commence the program, may I kindly request you to please rise for the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SITREK Cyber and Tech Summit for the year 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a SITREK group of companies, and we are truly proud of the journey that we have led so far, the legacy that we have left behind as well, and the legacy that we leave for the future generations as well. Let's take a look at our corporate journey.
In 1977, a small security company was formed comprising of 8 security guards. With a clear vision to become a pioneer in security solutions, the business grew in leaps and bounds. Headquartered in Colombo, the company branched out into 4 subsidiaries and grew its presence with an island-wide network of 12 branches and 45 hubs. SITREK is Sri Lanka's market leader in manpower security solutions, home nursing and swift care. secure logistics and cash management, and a leader in electronic security, technology, consultancy, and courier services. Setting the bar as the most dependable and reliable commercial security company in Sri Lanka, we are the security partner of choice for major financial institutions, shopping malls, international hotel chains, diplomatic missions, and many more. We offer the full range of security needs for private and commercial purposes. SITREK provides an integrated approach to security with solutions for residential and commercial applications that are tailored for homes and various building configurations. And in the field of home nursing and swift care, SITREK brings decades of experience to offer temporary and long-term care into homes and offices. The most experienced caregivers follow ongoing training to deliver world-class services and timely attention. With the latest in innovation and procedures, we have built a reputation for ourselves for trust, speed, reliability, and dependability in cash management, secure transport, and last-mile delivery. Our people are our most valuable asset. They are the backbone of our service offerings, consisting of ex-elite forces and officers, as well as experienced professionals. They are further equipped with the knowledge and technical training to take care of all your requirements. And as we continue to move forward, we have branched out into new areas such as education, property rental and buying services, and AC solutions. Leveraging our industry experience and cutting-edge technology assists to provide our clients the confidence in knowing that their world is safe and secure. SITREK Group, protecting your world.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a story of SITREK. Can we have a round of applause on that note, on this important milestone as well? SITREK was formed in 1977 by our late chairman. His vision and mission over the years have made SITREK into a diversified conglomerate employing over 10,000 staff across diverse sectors across Sri Lanka. Our former chairman was driven by a simple yet a very powerful belief that we must always strive to be the best at what we do and leave every industry stronger than we found it. His vision was never just about growth, but about purpose and a meaningful impact. Today we honor that legacy by embracing innovation, investing in technology, and building partnerships that reflect who we are across security, secure logistics, healthcare, and beyond. This event is a reflection of that journey, a reminder that SITREK is not just growing a business, but carrying forward a vision and a legacy. Before we begin today's proceedings, it is my pleasure to introduce a visionary leader who has played a pivotal role in shaping this event and the growth of SITREK Group. As Joint Chairman, Mr. Jeevaka Vijayasinghe has been instrumental in driving the company's expansion and strengthening its presence across security, technology, secure logistics, healthcare, and education as well. Under his leadership, SITREK has continuously invested in advanced technologies, positioning the group to support organizations in navigating an increasingly digital and security-conscious landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming on stage the Joint Chairman of SITREK Group, Mr. Jeevaka Vijayasinghe, to officially welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon, everyone. I had a whole speech prepared on what I wanted to say, but we had a session in the morning as well, which was very insightful. But in between that session, I got a call from a WhatsApp call from what I thought, or who I thought was a current sitting minister of the government. He sounded exactly like him. It was very strange that I would get a random call with a minister, because that hardly happens unless you're very connected. I had a conversation with him. It was quite noisy. but the gist of the conversation was he knew that our organization had contributed to the Rebuild Sri Lanka Fund as soon as the cyclone Ditwa was over. He knew how much we had given, and based on that, he said that they're running a program for some school children in Kandy and in affected areas, and he requested that if we would, as an organization, make a donation to whatever campaign that they're hoping to have. He asked for my details, and then immediately, about 10 minutes later, I got a very formal letter from the ministry that this person represents, giving all the details of what he asked for, which at the end, it had a very strange account number. It had a commercial bank. I don't know if there's anyone from commercial bank in this room, but it had a individual's name which kind of raised a bit of eyebrows for us, and I shared it amongst our team, which we all came to the conclusion that it was a scam. The voice of the person, I'm not sure whether he was real or not, or whether it was AI, but it sounded like the person in question. So the issues are real, ladies and gentlemen, which is why the timing of this, it's very ironic that I got this call in the middle of a cyber and tech summit, but it's real. So there are these issues that are happening, and I know most of you in the room are from the banking and finance sector. So it's real, and we need to take precautions. It's not an issue that, as organizations, something that we can pass just to IT teams to look after. It's a board level, it's become a board level issue where we need to take proactive decisions in terms of making calls on cybersecurity and looking after that area of all of our businesses. So which is why at SITREK, this is a natural extension as a part of our service offerings, which is why it gives me great honor to also announce that we have formally signed a Memorandum of Collaboration with ST Engineering Singapore, who you will be hearing from later throughout the day. So this adds a lot of value to us as well as to all of you, because their service offerings are absolutely amazing. They're experts in what they do, and you'll see that throughout the day. We also have our product booths outside, as well as the ST Engineering products and services. So please enjoy the sessions as we go through the day. Once it's done, please stop by all the booths. They've graciously, there are 11 people, very important people from the ST Engineering organization that have flown here just to be here. So engage with them. They're highly knowledgeable. They have a lot of knowledge and experience within them. So have a good day, and we will speak later. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just as our chairman mentioned, the issues are real and the issues are happening right as we speak. So as timely as it is, we request you to make the best use of this opportunity. You are at a wonderful venue, and I do know you are probably also after a very heavy lunch, and this is that perfect opportunity for you to have a bit of a nap, but I urge you, do not let that happen, because we have a brilliant lineup of speakers for you. They have come in all the way from different parts of the world just to be with you, just to speak to you, and give you some more insights on how to tackle real world issues which are happening. And like our chairman also said, these issues are now heading onto the board levels as well. It's not just limited to the IT sector. So when these issues are happening in hand, it's also imperative that we do our best in tackling these issues in the best way that we can. All right, so before I introduce our first speaker to you this afternoon, let's take a look at the corporate video of ST Engineering.
Today's modern world is empowered by AI, autonomous vehicles, cryptography, cloud, blockchain, drones, and more. The myriad of high technological advancements enhances not only the efficiency of mega infrastructures, but also our daily lives. What many do not know is the Achilles heel that destroys the modern world is intangible. It's the dynamic nature of cyber attacks. Here at ST Engineering, we believe keeping the environment cyber safe is key to the modern world's sustainability. We begin with securing your information while working from home, without the need to telecommute or be present in the office. Protecting the systems in critical infrastructures, preventing tanker from cyber threats, causing an oil spill in the ocean that destroy the environmental ecosystem. Autonomous vehicles and airplanes from accidents that threaten our lives. These systems and networks are monitored by our groundbreaking Cybersecurity Operations Center that adopts a preemptive and proactive cybersecurity strategy to provide actionable insights for C-suites and analysts to make informed decisions to combat the cyber attacks. Our extensive cybersecurity capabilities suite is engineered and powered by our deep cybersecurity expertise in operation, training, and research and development. Here at ST Engineering, the key is our people. Together, we secure what matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, ST Engineering for you, and just before our second session, before the session started, we also signed the MOC, which is also now an official collaboration. So let's give a round of applause for this imperative milestone between SITREK and ST Engineering, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so just before I introduce our speaker, on your table you will find a QR code just like this. So after the speaker session, you will have the opportunity to pose some questions or direct these questions to the speaker, and we will do the honors of answering all the questions as much as we can according to our time constraints as well. So that is a bit of a heads up for you. So trust is a currency of the digital economy. And our next speaker has spent his career building it. With a decade of experience across defense and cybersecurity, he leads innovation and strategy within ST Engineering's cybersecurity product business. He was instrumental in founding the organization's first SOC Academy and has contributed to national-level security operations initiatives. Beyond technology, he is a thought leader who believes cybersecurity must enable growth, confidence, and resilience, not just compliance. He has also served as president of the ISC2 Singapore chapter, shaping the cybersecurity profession regionally. Please welcome on stage Mr. Victor Yeo, who will share his insights on building digital trust, the enabler for a cyber-resilient digital economy.
Thank you for the wonderful introductions. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And first of all, thank you, Chairman SITREK. Javaka, it's an honor to be here in Sri Lanka. Today, I'm glad that I'll be spending the afternoon speaking to leaders from industry, enterprises, and especially in the financial sector. And you guys are the forerunner in helping to shape the country's digital future. Sorry. Technical difficulty. All right. So, okay, Sri Lanka and Singapore share many things in common. First of all, both of us are island nation. Of course, we are 10 times smaller than you are, and also 10 times less people than you are. And although we are small in size, we have a very educated workforce and have big ambition. And with Sri Lanka rapidly digitizing from e-government services, digital identity to online banking, port logistics, and smart infrastructure, the digital progress is and will create tremendous opportunity for citizens as well as businesses. The opportunity that will be brought, other than what has been identified here in terms of initiative, they will also be bringing to government productivities in government, bankings and infrastructures, and creating new jobs, and most importantly, enabling digitization innovation. However, one element becomes absolutely fundamental to this initiative, and that is trust. Without trust, citizens will hesitate to use digital services. Without trust, business will delay innovation. Without trust, the digital economy cannot reach its true potential. Yet today, trust is increasingly fragile with the expanding attack surface of devices that are connecting into the network, the transactions that we are doing across the infrastructure. And across the region, we see ransomware shutting down public services, cloud breaches, exposing sensitive data, and identity compromises becoming attackers' favorite entry point. And cybersecurity thus is an essential capability to enable trust. And yet, it is a constant battle that we face daily, just as chairman have highlighted earlier, with just a simple call, people imitating and trying to get information. Singapore ourselves, although we have been on this journey for quite a number of years, we are constantly dealing with this as well. And if you see here, 255 firm links to Singapore critical infrastructure. These are SMEs supporting our government agency that are found to be targeted in the dark web. So this continues to be a challenge. Cyber is no longer just an IT issue. It is a national resilience issue, an economic competitiveness, and a citizen issue. Today, I'd like to share three things. One, the key cybersecurity challenges we see government and enterprises facing today, a practical approach to build cyber resilience in a fast-changing environment with the impending AI and the quantum advancement, and how ST Engineering can partner Sri Lanka to address these challenges in a concrete and, more importantly, a sustainable way. So let's start off with understanding the key landscape challenge. These are the challenges that we are seeing. These are the challenges that we are seeing that is commonly reported. The most obvious are ransomware. Attackers are no longer stealing data. They are encrypting, disrupting, and some even destroying. Public services, hospital, utility, banks, enterprises are attractive targets because an outage create an immediate impact, and the threat of leaking informations and also damage to your reputations, these are pressures that they will use to make you pay. Next, as we come out from COVID, remote working now is a common approach for people who are in IT. Nobody sits on the desk and work in the enterprise office anymore, and they need to be connected back to the enterprise, and the cloud service provider are now coming on to provide various services. While it is easy to do, but there are also constant challenge of misconfigurations. Cloud partners are always being targeted as well to look for misconfigurations to get into the enterprise network. Third, you have the conversions of IT and OT and IoT, critical infrastructures in terms of managing your critical infrastructures, be it in the factory or be it in the industries, are now intertwined with the IT and forming new attack vectors for people to look at and to exploit. A disruption in this control system can now cascade into physical impact and services as well as safety. Fourth, identity compromises today are one of the key primary entry vector, right? All I need to do is to sit somewhere remotely in another country, try to log in with your credential and connect into your enterprise. And if I can get access into your enterprises, and I can start digging around to look for information. So these are areas that we need to be constantly be looking at. Next. As though the complexity is not enough, we now seen the accelerated advancement in AI. Industry, government agencies, enterprises are adopting AI into their workflow. AI adoption in enterprise is on a growth trajectory. We get to do more with less, yet in the hand of the attacker and in the attacker, the same capability allow them to exploit vulnerability faster, create better attacks, and develop exploit with lesser resources and time. The intensity and the reach are further accelerated for the attacker by the advances in AI as well. One example is this website. This is a offering. Like I said, all technology advancements are two-sided. This is a website offering people to help create payloads for their exploitation of the services. These are tools that pen testers use to test environment, but at the same time, attackers are also using the same tools to do exploitation. So for people who are in the cyber industry, you will be familiar with the Kali Linux pen test tools. You will be familiar with some of these exploits that pen testers use to test your environment. So if you look at this, for a small amount of money, all you need to do is to tell them that this is the exploit, this is what I want to do, can you help create me a payload? And in seconds, you get a payload created that you can be injected into your tools, and you can attempt that in any organizations that you want. Next. So, beside AI, we also have the quantum issues, quantum computing capability advancing, which will render today's encryptions useless, as it can break today's encryptions in a very short time. The cryptography we use to secure our communications, transactions can be broken in seconds with quantum computer. Hackers are already adopting a harvest now and decrypt later approach. If data leak cannot be managed, then the trust that we need for enabling our digital economy will be greatly undermined. This is a report from Citibank, and these are the key few points that they have identified. One, it is $1 trillion security race. And as you can see, even before 2027, or in this couple of years, some agencies would already have, 8% of the agencies would already have access to quantum computing. Whether is this in the hand of good governments, or is this in the hands of exploiter, yet remain to be seen. And they have identified that the impact to economy will be in the region of $1 trillion once this exploit come on board. So as organization, there are key takeaway and suggestions for most of us is to start thinking about post-quantum encryptions so as to help protect your existing data that is flowing in the traffic and the network. Well, it is indeed very complex, but if we were to look carefully what exactly is the core issues that we are facing, right? The core issues that we identify is there are too many surfaces and too many tools. Fragmented environments are hard to manage. Multiple authentications and identity silos are a challenge. There are dozens of security tools and consoles, thousands of alerts to be dealt with by the SOC team. And the result is detection is low, response is delayed, and teams are overwhelmed. In the battle cycle, it is that we can't catch up with the amount of alert. When we talk to government and agency and enterprises in the region, three common questions come out. How do I gain end-to-end visibility? How do I respond fast enough? How do I secure my cloud and my identity without creating friction for my user? But one of the most common questions, can I afford it? Can it be cost-effective and affordable? Which is key. And it's a reasonable ask, right? These are exactly the questions that we want to help organizations think through how to approach it subsequently. First, at ST Engineering, our philosophy is shaped by our experience in securing critical infrastructure, government systems, and large enterprises in Singapore and also internationally. We wrote the technological changes in cybersecurity and its impact over the last 25 years. We learned that a compliant approach may not be as effective in managing our cybersecurity risks. We realize, however, that some fundamentals do not change and remain even with technology changes. No system is 100% secure. The real question is that, do you know what you need to secure? And do you know what you are doing in order to observe and protect? Can you identify what you need to protect and put in place a risk management strategy to guard it? And I'd like to emphasize here, I did not say solution, I say risk management strategy, right? And you need to be able to know what key assets that you're holding and what can you do with the amount of resources and finances that you can afford to manage this risk. Next, of course, can you then detect, contain, and respond and recover fast enough? Only with the fundamental in place, then you can govern and mitigate your risk. Many organizations have accumulated security tools over the years using a compliant mindset. A tool for endpoint. Somebody come up to you, we need antivirus, we need EDR, we need MDR, we need firewall. A tool for endpoint, another for network, another for cloud, another for identity, and many dashboards. And the result is an integration nightmare, alert fatigues, and gap. We believe the future lies in an integrated platform that matches your risk management so that you can bring together data from multiple sources, correlate signal intelligently, and guide that with actionable insight. And this is the core design philosophy behind our agentic SOC, our ITER, and WISNITE, which will further be elaborated later by my colleague. And the aim is to bring simplicity to the entire management so that we can have a sustainable cybersecurity operation. As I highlighted earlier, as workload shift to cloud and user connect from anywhere, maybe at this juncture, can I ask, who do not work remotely outside of your office environment? Is there anyone? So that proves my point. Today, everybody will work remotely outside of the environment. You will connect to your enterprises to get access to the information as well as the tools that you need for your work. The new security parameter is identity. Like I said, if someone, let's say in another country, can be Victor and try to and know my email address and know my passwords and can mimic the entire conditions of this identity to access my account in ST Engineering, then it is hard to deal with, right? My personal informations have been leaked. Somebody can mimic me from anywhere, and depending on my security policies and detections capability, I may or may not be able to prevent somebody impersonating me. So the industry had come up with the name Zero Trust Architecture, which expects identity to be verified, authenticated in every single transactions as well as process activation. We must strongly authenticate user, continuously verify trust before granting access. This is one key aspect of our security strategy that we are proposing. Next. Sorry. Identity. So next, partnership and capacity building is core. The cybersecurity challenge is not an individual challenge. It is a team effort. For government and enterprises, especially in fast-growing digital economy, sustainable cyber resilience also requires local skill and knowledge. It requires collaborations, shared processes, and playbook for incident response and continuous training. And allow me to add exercises, joint exercises for contingency incident. Our role as ST Engineering is not just to deploy product, but more to work with you as a strategic partner, to transfer knowledge, to build capacity, and to become a long-term partner with Sri Lanka digitization's growth. Allow me to share a bit on our company and what we have. We started off with 30 employees 25 years ago to provide solutions like encryptions and SOC. OT cybersecurity solution deployed for national utility and transport. 1 decade of experience in designing and building, operating and maintaining over our SOC and critical infrastructures and enterprises. These are experience that we have accumulated over the years. Today we have customer in 4 key sectors: defense, government, critical infrastructures, and enterprise. Delivering trusted cybersecurity solutions, products, and services to our customer locally as well as internationally. And the way that we are able to do this is not because we have a solutions that have solved the world's problem. We have constantly grow, evolve, learn, and listen to our customer, addressing the changes, addressing the technology changes in the market, and then continue to innovate and provide solutions for our customer. We have strong experience in critical sectors. These are areas that we work with back in Singapore, key aspects from government, security, aviation, maritime, land transport, infocoms, healthcare, water, energy, as well as banking and finance. This is our holistic range of cybersecurity capability comprising of 3 main segments. Uniquely in the market, we don't just help with system integrations. We are also an engineering house that build products that we can't find solution in today's market to support. Holistically, if you look at us, we have also evolved over the last couple of years to address the challenge in AI, in helping to secure AI utilizations, as well as securing endpoints. Where do we start? Our cyber chief in Singapore always remind us that cybersecurity is a team sport, and you need all parties to come together. And especially in financial sectors, you can share information to alert each other. It's naturally so, because the network are just too large for single agencies to monitor and enforce. and yet it is interconnected, and attacker can come into your enterprise via many channels through your employees and also your connected business supply chain. Or, as such, we need all parties to come together. At the top-down level, of course, the government is building the strategic capability in the form of the National Cybersecurity Strategy, like what you have, the National SOC for strategic monitoring, the sectoral SOC for the CII monitoring, and on top of it, you have the regulatory requirements enforcement, ranging from GDPR or PDPA, HIPAA, ISO, PCI, etc., etc. In Singapore, we also have implemented qualification for enterprises called the Cyber Trust Mark. And this is to help assess enterprises for their readiness in terms of cybersecurity. While that is done on the top-down level, the bottom-up level for enterprises have to come back to the fundamental, as I highlighted back earlier. Security by design, stick to fundamental, recognize that it is not compliance, it is risk management, and balance risk cost performance to ensure that it is sustainable. And to do this, I understand that cost and resource is always a problem, right? And fundamentally, for the last couple of years, the key shift in focusing on operational monitoring, response, and recovery, a lot have moved away from the protect aspects of the consideration, and instead tends to rely on the latter in terms of detect, contain, and response to protect the system. I would like to reintroduce this protect first strategy. It is easier to guard 10 doors than 100 doors. If you were to be able to secure your devices and entry immediately, right? We automatically reduces noise, complexity, and also workload for our SOC team. Let me give you an example. You have a number of computers. Today, your computer systems are able to connect onto any internet, and you access with authentications and security in order to get onto your enterprise network. However, the challenge today is that even simply by connecting onto an unknown Wi-Fi, you could be signing on to a road Wi-Fi and get yourself connecting to a man-in-the-middle attack. And your data can be captured and then be exploited. This is an incident in Singapore. Air shows about in 2014, the ministers were communicating in the hotel. They were connecting to the Wi-Fi in the unsecure link, and his communication was captured and later on leaked to the public. The attack is simple. Device, connect to untrusted Wi-Fi, whereby a road Wi-Fi can mimic a hotel Wi-Fi as though that it is the hotel Wi-Fi. You connect to it, he connects, the back end connects back to the public network, and you think that you are on the public network. What's happening is that the exploit is being done behind the scene, and immediately, whatever you are sending through, I can inspect what vulnerability you have on your device. At the same time, I can intercept whatever data that you are communicating. And that is an inherent problem. Simple, but difficult to solve. And as such, it is with this sort of challenge question that we are having that we have started to innovate on devices that can help protect our devices. And WISNITE is one of our approach to allow you an independent device that can handle the connections to the internet on the Wi-Fi perspective. What it does is pure simple. One, it acts as an independent device that with minimum exploitable content, because it's just a firmware connecting to the internet. Next, it makes your device invisible to anyone on the network because they only saw the dongle. Third, After you connect the device, they ensure that you have encryptions or VPN that is connecting to the enterprise. As such, whatever before your data can be released through the internet, it is already encrypted. So anybody who are intercepting in between will not get to see the data in clear. So even if the attacker road Wi-Fi is the one that you're connected to, your data is encrypted through his road Wi-Fi before it gets out of your computer. So these are solutions that we have innovated and created, and you can see more at the exhibition later. Other use case for this is to look at it as though that if you used to work in a closed office and you can connect only to your fixed infra, how do I do this in a remote environment? And if I were to make every one of the device that can only be VPN into your enterprise network and nothing else, whatever informations and transactions that you are doing, it goes through your own security gateway. You get to inspect the traffic that he's trying to connect to, block any traffics that he's not supposed to connect. You get to inspect any traffics that's coming into the device and block any traffics that is not supposed to come into the device. And the investment that you have on the enterprise security monitoring and operations services are applied across to all employees remotely. So this is the concept, and as such, the similar use case are suggested for public security, like the data in your vehicle, in your policing vehicle, or even in hospitals, as well as in official delegations that are going everywhere. To conclude, we are committed to partner Sri Lanka with your digital journey together with SITREK. And this partnership is a trust relationship, and cybersecurity is not a one-point solution. It is a consultations, an ability to work with you to understand your need, to understand your challenge, and to suggest and provide you with the best approach of the solution. Together with SITREK, for SME, we have showcasing outside this combination of effective managed services for enterprise consisting of WeSnight and Ether. Like I said, it helps small, medium enterprise a quick way to gain sufficient security for their remote access as well as their device monitoring. And with that, I thank you for today and your attentions, and I will take any questions. Questions?
Our first question from the audience is for Mr. Yo. What security measures should be implemented during ERP development? What security measures should be implemented during ERP development?
Can I clarify what do you mean by ERP? In Singapore, it's electronic road pricing. Okay.
Enterprise resource planning.
Yeah. I think the fundamental doesn't change, right? Strategically, enterprises with their resource and access controls are key. And the key question is that how do we set this up in the entire strategy and in terms of your risk mitigation management, right? And I think identity is the most important thing. And in the WeSnight solutions, this new initiative that we are proposing is that WeSnight is your identity token, your unique identity token, to connect to the respective service. Imagine if you are let's say, I am the finance guy, and in order for me to release a PO, I need to connect to the enterprise services, and typically is an login ID together with passwords do some authentications on the device if you have an endpoint. However, one of the key challenges today is we felt that software-based solutions are easily compromised. First of all, we can't catch up enough in terms of our software patching. Every Tuesday, you have your Microsoft patching that you need to put it up, and then and you don't know whether some of these agents that you have created in the past for your security are being exploited or not being exploited. Which is why our approach of using a dongle-based solution is to ensure that first, the dongle is an independent hardware solution that is locked in, and people need that as a second identity. And I understand that in some banks in Singapore, they are rethinking about using software SingPass-like ID to replace that and go back to hardware token again for their financial transactions. So these are possible solutions that the dongle can be configured in order to support some of these secure communications and identity connections that you need.
All right, our next question is, many organizations use multiple security tools that create complexity. What steps can we take to move towards integrated security platforms?
Okay, I think if you were to speak to any vendor, you realize that today most vendors are at point security solutions. They have one solution for this and one solution for that, and it's in the task of the system integrator like ST Engineering to sort of work with the agency to identify how to streamline these layers of security tools to make sure that you get the most effective solutions in terms of the way that you can implement your tools. So find a trusted partner with the experience who can come in and assess your risk. Find a trusted partner who can understand the existing portfolio of vendor technology and suggest the most optimal way of integrating the entire platform. And one of the overlaying solutions that we look at in terms of monitoring is, of course, to leverage on the advancement in AI and agentic SOC to help with the management and oversight.
How important is identity management in preventing cyber attacks, and what technologies help strengthen identity security?
Okay, I think I sort of spoke about that a little. I think identity is core in managing your entire enterprise access, and you need to be able to validate that the person who is connecting in is who he says he is. He's accessing it with the rights that he's entitled to, and then the transactions that he's permitted to do. And in doing so, there are multiple approaches. There is always a trade-off. There's never a perfect solution, and you have to balance that. But our approach with WISNITE is to use a dongle-based solution as the identity. So as such, you carry a security token with you to access your device, as well as to access your enterprise informations and in terms of transaction. And without it, you can't access anything. And it's very difficult to replicate this device because each is a unique identity that is only assigned to you and managed at the enterprise. Indirectly, it also gives the enterprise an ability to manage the devices. Today, with multiple devices, in terms of different variants of laptops, Mac, Windows, phone, tablets, you have multiple things to manage. And in order to manage those devices, enforcement is not easy in terms of the onboarding and the identity. But if you were to just use device as simple as this, then you only need to manage this device for the access, and without it, you just say, okay, sorry, you can't access it. Right? So at least that is one approach to the entire strategy. Okay. Right. So I think that's all the questions. Our booth are outside. We will be around. Please do come to talk to us if you have further questions or clarifications or challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Victor Yu, for that insightful presentation and those insightful answers as well. Moving on into our next session, our next speaker brings extensive global experience in enterprise, artificial intelligence, and digital transformation. Shivang Agarwal is the Vice President and co-founder of Dragonfruit AI, where he leads advanced AI deployments across government, banking, and retail sectors. His work focuses on building scalable, production-ready systems that strengthen risk management, compliance, and operational intelligence. Headquartered in California, Dragonfruit AI delivers powerful enterprise solutions in video analytics, digital investigations, and retail intelligence, enabling organizations to transform complex data into actionable, real-time insights. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shivang Agarwal. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage this afternoon.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I am Shivang and I've traveled from Bangalore, and thanks to SITREK for inviting me to this amazing gathering. Dragonfruit is an enterprise video AI platform, and Gartner recognizes us as one of the top computer vision platforms in contention with Amazon and Adobe and Microsoft's. But today, I'll talk less about Dragonfruit, but more about, as leaders, how you should think about the infrastructure, the video infrastructure that you already have, like thousands of cameras in your warehouses, retail infrastructure, and public spaces. How to think about that video infrastructure in your daily operations, security, and different use cases. So the reality is, across industries, banking, government, logistics, retail, the pattern is consistent. Like, there is no shortage of cameras right now. But the video is reactive. Incidents are discovered after that has happened. Investigations are manual and slow. Operations team only rely on sample data collected over a period of time. And alerts, when they exist, they create a lot of noise because, most of the cameras are motion detection cameras, and you see lots of false positives coming from them, right? So getting the right information out of this, like so much of data, is really, really hard. And most importantly, once you have the signals, there is no concrete workflow around it so that you can integrate into your enterprise workflows, right? So right now, you can imagine the video is stored, but not as an intelligence layer on top of it. So as leaders, you should think about in two operating modes. So one, real time. The second is optimization and investigation, right? So in real time, you want to do multiple things. In real time, you want to detect risk. There is an intrusion, you want to figure that out. You want to figure out process deviations, like people are not wearing PPE detection, PPE kits. Trigger intervention, so there is a spill, you want to send someone to clean that spill, right? And reduce escalation, so again, a spill has happened, someone hasn't fallen yet, but you want to prevent that before it escalates. And the second part is optimization and investigation, right? So once you have so much of data, you should be able to easily search through it. So for example, the incident happened where someone was wearing a red shirt at this time. It's really hard right now to correlate this data across cameras that you have, right? Then you can use video cameras to continuously manage your compliance, like OSHA compliance or GDPR compliance and a bunch of stuff. Then you can also use for operations, like figure out patterns which are there. Like people are moving through this aisle more, so I should keep my products there more, right? So these kind of operational patterns that you can figure out. And using this information, how you actually utilize and improve the day-to-day operations on the ground. Right? So think about the video infrastructure in these two categories. And this is, I'll go through some more patterns going forward, but you can imagine as leaders, you have bunch of more, like the different kind of operations and security related stuff that you can do. Now, here, with Dragonfruit, what we are trying to do is from passive recording that you have, how it goes from real-time intelligence and searchable insights. These are some examples that I took, like PPE detection, shoplifting detection, trespassers. Like these are real-time ones, but the stuff on the right-hand side that you see is like more operational readiness, like how the people are moving across the mall and other things like that. So what is Dragonfruit? So Dragonfruit is a real-time detection engine. And it's an investigation and evidence platform. So what happens is we connect with the existing camera infrastructure that you have. And with that infrastructure connected, now you can add different kind of modules and integrate it into your workflow. So, and we have a model factory, and we work with enterprises to figure out the actual operational problems that they have, and fine-tune and create new custom models to support them for their needs. It's an enterprise security grade built-in, so we partner with Apple. So we give you the Apple hardware, which is present on-prem, which can connect to a simple hardware like Mac Mini, can connect to 40 cameras, and most of the places, physical places that are there, 40 cameras is enough to coverage all of them. So a simple edge device can process and run models, which can do a bunch of these kind of detections, and then you can use it for the different kind of use cases that I talked about before. Now, as leaders, one of the key problems that you kind of think about is privacy, right? So if you are using video data, then privacy is a concern, right? So with Dragonfruit, what we have done is, and this is something that you can think about as a pattern, is you don't really need to send video upstream. It can be processed on-prem and just delete it from there. And you just use embeddings, as we call, to actually figure out a person as they move from camera to camera, or track a person from one camera to the other camera. So you can actually do the full journey of a person without actually doing facial recognition, because facial recognition is a very dicey place to go into. So Dragonfruit generally is enterprise AI with privacy in mind. So that is very, very important for us. Now I'll talk about few common patterns that you'll see that we work with across with enterprises. So first is risk and security. We work with enterprises on perimeter breach, restricted zone accesses, suspicious behavior, like you want to get alerted when someone is wearing masks and entering your store. Or you want to get alerted and responded when, let's say, there are 20 people coming into the store at once, right? So these kind of suspicious behavior can be detected. Then the other pattern that you'll see is operational excellence. So let's say you want to find out if the SOP adherence is there, right? If there are empty shelves in my aisle, and if the merchandising that I expect is there or not, right? So across all of these kind of patterns, an operational excellence type of use cases can also be solved with video artificial intelligence. The third pattern that you'll see is compliance. So on compliance side, safety violations, like your emergency doors are blocked, or people are not wearing safety vests, or even hard hats. Forklift is speeding up. So these kind of compliance and audit related issues can also be monitored via video artificial intelligence. And finally, the whole, I talked about a lot of detection kind of stuff, but in the end, you want to club this together with workflows, right? So you want to collect these evidences, create cases, share with law enforcement, and keep audit logs of all kind of detections that you have done. So, so the pattern 4 that we have seen is a lot of people use video artificial intelligence for investigation and evidence purposes. Now, as you are thinking about like how to use video artificial intelligence into your companies and infrastructure, then you should always think about in these 5 steps. First, you should define objectives. Then we'll help you identify the video signals. Then train and tune models based on the area that we'll work with, and integrate into your existing workflow. This is very, very important, where we call it jobs to be done. So all the enterprises and their team members have jobs to be done. And ideally, you want to integrate your product into their jobs to be done workflows. And integrating into their workflows is an important aspect to measure KPIs. So as leaders, whenever you're thinking about video artificial intelligence projects, you should always think about these 5 steps. We work with largest of the technology partners. We work with Apple and AWS, and we work with integrators like SITREK here and a bunch of them in different countries. Because, I mean, the localization is always an issue. We are a US-based company. Most of our customers has been in US, but now as we are coming in Sri Lanka, SITREK is our partner to figure out the local nuances which might be there and help us create those kind of workflows and use artificial intelligence in video across multiple companies. We work with enterprises like largest of the world, like we work with Walmart, Starbucks in the US, we work with Reliance in India. So, and corporates and venues, Disney and SeaWorlds. So you can imagine any kind of enterprise in the world, we kind of work with that kind of scale across the board. Yeah, so this is probably the last thing that I'll say before I leave here. So identify 1 or 2 high impact use cases, do a 2-month proof of value with a clear success metric, and then you scale across the platform. As leaders, that's how you should think about problem solving using video artificial intelligence. And Dragonfruit can help you define those problems and KPIs as well, with help of SITREK, obviously. But that's how you scale video artificial intelligence deployment across your sites. Thank you. I'll be here today and tomorrow, so if there are any questions, and specifically anything if you are looking for your sites, let me know. I can help you out with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shivang. And just as he mentioned, he will also be available here if you want to have a one-to-one discussion, a more in-depth discussion on his product details as well. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session challenges how we think about AI not as tools but as coordinated systems. With more than 2 decades of experience in AI and data science, our speaker has worked extensively with the European Commission, the European Parliament, and global security institutions. Today, he leads AI innovation for cybersecurity at ST Engineering, driving the development of agentic AI systems that redefine how security operations are executed. His work spans defense, cybersecurity, finance, healthcare, and national security, all through one core principle, that is coordination over automation. Please welcome on stage Dr. Ivan Jacobs, presenting AI for Security.
now I will speak through this microphone because earlier it was difficult with that one. So hello, nice to see you all. Thank you for coming and thank you for sticking around until my speech. So as was said, I'm leading the AI lab where in the Center of Excellence we are building different AI-driven solutions for different verticals in cybersecurity. And today, from my experience, I will try to give you some advice, some insights that I have acquired during the years that might help you when you do your own journey within AI. So I will start with some history. So this is Singapore in 1960, and the picture beneath is Singapore today. And me as a foreigner in Singapore, I have been always admiring and asking myself, how did Singapore achieve this economic growth in such short time? For example, my country of origin, Bulgaria, for all those years we haven't evolved actually at all. I would argue that we are going back in time. And so I think we can inspire ourselves by how Singapore leveraged on innovation in technology in order to translate this into economic value. And I will walk through that example and I will try to kind of give you the equivalence with AI and how we can use those approaches in order to leverage better on the capability that artificial intelligence is giving us. So before 1960, moving goods around the world was very difficult. So the containers, they were all made of wood and they would be of different sizes and shapes. And so it would be very difficult to load them and unload them. It will take days. And goods will stay idle at different ports for a very long time. Then along the way at each port, people will need to renegotiate the contract, so there wasn't a single contract that could get your good from point A to point B. So also moving from train to ship or truck was also quite difficult, and we needed to renegotiate all the time. So this made the whole thing really unreliable, slow and unreliable, and also very expensive. People will need to pay for insurance, they will lose revenue from delays, and they will need to overstock, and also the economy or the manufacturing was always local, so they couldn't leverage on global supply. So in 1960, the container, as we know it today, was invented or proposed. And during the Vietnam War, the USA military started using those containers because they had to ship a lot of things around. And from there, it kind of got adopted by different countries. So then this kind of reshaped the economy, and shipping became faster and reliable, and ports started to automate. So what they were doing before in days or weeks, they were now capable of doing in hours. And then the production was able to move to global production, and the supply chain replaced the local manufacturing. So the power of the economical power moved from those who control to those who control the routes. So Singapore, they capitalized on that. So what they did is they started automating their ports. They built bigger ships. So putting things on the ship or taking them out of the ship was faster, and they were able to work with larger ships and build larger ports. So now I want to draw the parallel with AI. So that going faster, loading on unloading of things we can actually go back to what we call ChatGPT today, and we can see that, for example, an agent or an assistant can do things that humans are doing in days, now in hours, or in minutes, or in seconds. So, for example, reading a book for AI agent can be done in a couple of seconds, and it can immediately answer questions based on that content. So we would think that actually that's all that we can do with AI, right? So that we can automate a particular task and optimize that task, and that sounds great. And we think that that's the most that we can do. And maybe I would like you to take a moment and think: is this really true? Can we do something more with artificial intelligence than just automate particular tasks and make them faster, and maybe with less errors? And I'll take a sip of water in the meanwhile. Okay, so automation is not the revolution, and speed was never the problem. The problem was unreliability. If you cannot trust the process, then, as I mentioned earlier, it costs you money, and you just are not able to build particular things because the parts of your processes are untrustable. So containerization alone was not the revolution, and if that would be the revolution, it will end at the port. And it's also saying that the port is the end destination, that you ship things to some point and you don't want to move them away. To make the parallel with artificial intelligence, that builds a lot of pressure when you automate some tasks, become faster, but the rest of your chain is not automated or not fast enough. If your developers are producing source code 10 times faster than before, then the testers that are still human and don't have particular AI tools are the ones that are starting to bottleneck your work. So you cannot only leverage on speed and automation in order to really leverage on the capability that artificial intelligence is giving you. So I want to introduce a term, coordination, which is the ability to align different people or processes or entities in order to go towards a common goal. And so you create systems where all parts move together in order to deliver something that is reliable. And this is actually what Singapore did, and this is the key to their success. They didn't only automate the ports, but they actually integrated customs within the ports. So it was much easier to go through customs once your goods were taken out of the ship. They were immediately driven through customs, so you could immediately use them. Then they integrated all the transport across road, rail, and air. So actually, they became an international hub. So they were able to coordinate the whole system. So they didn't just say, our port is very fast, bring things to our port. They said, no, when you come through Singapore, you can move fast and you can export further in the world. So this is the true power that artificial intelligence is giving us. And I think that people need to realize that this is how we can leverage on AI in order to bring economical value. So what we call coordination crisis is what you see in most businesses or enterprises. Here is an example of security operations center, but you can imagine that that happens everywhere. On the left-hand side, here, you see different inputs, different input types, different data flowing through your system, being stored in different different tooling or different databases. and they're also coming in a huge volume or in different moments of time. And then people need to work with that data, and they also need to work with each other. There's some business process that needs to be followed. And of course, things fall between the cracks. Some information is not used. The communication between some people is not correctly done. And eventually you start to create gaps, and the whole system is collapsing. So this happens in every business. If you think about it, are you processing alerts in a security operations center, or are you processing some documents from customers that are onboarding? You can immediately identify those business processes that continuously fail because either the data was mismanaged or the people didn't communicate between them, etc., etc. So regardless of the economy or the business you're working in, you can rely to this problem. So what we are seeking to achieve is what we have here on the left. So this is the problematic situation. I want to create a centralized brain that can coordinate the whole process, work with different types of data, and have different AI agents that collaborate effectively with humans in order to coordinate that system and deliver the whole thing end to end. And also learn through that experience and improve in time. So this is the same, apologies. So this is what we have built in ST Engineering to be capable of doing that. So we have a system that will receive some objective, some high-end objective, and it will plan how to achieve that. The plan will consist of different phases and steps, and for every phase, that system will look at what you see in the end there, tools and skills, which are actually any tool that a human can use. Outlook, SIM in a security operations center, Excel, whatever a human can use, or a database, that becomes a tool to our agents. And within the planning for every step, that's centralized brain will decide which are the tools to be used for a particular step. Then once that planning is done, there will be a moment where that centralized brain will try to figure out what are the possible outputs of every step and the possible outputs from every tool. And it then will assign it to different AI agents that will start executing the work step by step. And for every step, we have an assessment by the centralized system what can be the possible output of that particular step. During that execution of this planning, the agents have the possibility to escalate to the human. That's what you see above. Essentially, every arrow going up is an arrow to the human, asking for the human's opinion, and the arrows going down are the human's feedback. So the whole process is done end to end, and everything is recorded, also with human feedback, and the whole system learns continuously through that experience that it does, and through the human feedback. So this is our way to coordinate a system. So not only optimizing a particular subtask, but every step that we see here is actually only one task. So this is a whole business process that is being executed end to end, and everything is recorded back into the system, and the system learns. So we have applied this to different problems. For example, attacking an enterprise network, what we call red teaming. So we have red team agents that, following this pattern, are capable of penetrating into an enterprise network and extract information. And we have blue team agents that are able of doing defense. And this is actually how we evolve those agents, because we put them into competition. So this is our approach of doing this, so coordinating systems. And this is the blue team agent. So this is our first product that we have delivered, is the security agentic AI security operations center, which is a security operations center mostly driven by AI agents. This is part also of a larger framework that we have, where we are also securing the AI. So we do cybersecurity for AI, not only AI for cybersecurity. We also have cyber wargaming, and then we have the agentic AI security operations center. No, sorry. So we, ST Engineering is building security operations centers for over 14 years now. We have 22 security operations centers that we have built, and the last one was an agentic AI security operations center, leveraging on that framework that I just explained. And we just delivered it to the energy sector in Singapore, and is being used by them at the moment. And as I was saying earlier, these are some of the things that that we see as failures in those workflows. So a lot of false positives, a lot of different data, lack of comprehension, meaning that the analysts are not capable of consuming all the data. They're zooming in into a particular vector. It's difficult for them to see the big picture. And they're struggling then to provide good recommendations because they have gaps in what they see. And it's very demanding. They need to work 24/7. There's a lot of people that burn out, and this is why these systems are actually unreliable. So this is just some of the challenges that we are facing in Security Operations Center. And so, again, our Agentic AI Security Operations Center is learning through experience, what I was explaining earlier. We have a specific way of gathering human feedback and the human in the loop or the human on the loop. And also, as I was explaining earlier, we have a centralized brain that is planning and executing everything. And none of those plans are hard-coded, so everything is dependent on the context, and they evolve in time. So even if something fails, the system learns from that. And what we did, as I explained earlier, we took every software that's in the Security Operations Center, and we provided it as a tool to our agentic system. So an SIM is a tool, the ticketing system is a tool, the SOAR is a tool, so the agents can use it in the same way that cyber analysts are using it. So the agents can do end-to-end investigations, they can also do correlation. They can generate detection rules, and they can automate the incident response. So this is the typical way how Security Operations Center works. There is an alert. If there is a playbook which is hard-coded, then we just run that playbook. If there's no playbook, then the human needs to come and intervene. But this never changes, so if it fails or it's performing not well, it will never improve in time, and we need to create a new playbook every time there is a new type of vulnerability out there. So our solution, again, goes through a centralized brain that will plan. It will look for different tools that are available. I need to then distribute the work to the different agents, and the agents will do the investigation end to end, and they will then ask for human feedback. The human is capable of asking questions to the agents about the investigation and can argue with them, and essentially can actually also say, I don't agree with the decision. And all of this is taken into account in order to continuously evolve the system. And so some of the benefits that we see, an investigation before was done in 70 minutes by the humans. Today we are doing it in 30 seconds. Our mean time to response is going from 15 minutes to 4 seconds. And our mean time to, mean time to identify and mean time to response is 55 minutes going to 26 seconds. So this is again what I was talking about earlier. This is the speed. So we are much faster, so we can do with the same amount of people, we can now work on 7, 10 more customers. And we then, the analysts have time to go into depth into more sophisticated items, so they are not overwhelmed by the number of alerts. And then when we go about the reliability, so we cover everything. So all of the alerts are being investigated. As in before, only the high-level alerts are investigated, the more severe alerts. Accountability, we record everything, so we know why agents do something. We know how the analysts discuss with the agents. And the most important is consistency. So all of the investigations are done with the same standard. So regardless if the human is tired or burned out or just had an argument with his wife, all of the investigations will be done with the highest standard that we have. So I thank you for your time, and that was my speech, and I'm ready for the questions.
Starting off with our first question, what are the biggest advantages of using agentic AI for cybersecurity operations compared to manual SOC processes?
Yeah, well, I guess, as I just mentioned, on average, security operations center can have above 2,000 alerts a day. As you saw, one alert is 70 minutes to be solved, to be investigated. So that's the first, that's the speed that I mentioned. So we can now process and investigate all of those alerts much, much faster, and we can give the analyst the time to actually go into depth in some of the items that are more sophisticated. The next thing is, as I was mentioning, the reliability is that system, that workflow becomes reliable, and we know that it will be investigated end to end. It will not be dropped. It's not because the analyst went home that he forgot to pass it on his colleague and that investigation wasn't finished. Now the system will always deliver on the same level of standards.
Next question is, how do your services differ from the SOC services offered by cybersecurity vendors who run the EDR or XDR?
Yeah, so for us, the security operations SOC driven by agents, if it's an EDR or XDR or SIM or a SOAR, we actually don't really care. I'm sorry for the term, but for us this becomes a tool. So if you decide to use an EDR, then the agents are using an EDR. So we actually have customers that are using EDR, we have customers that are using Source. So regardless of the tooling, we can plug any tool into our system, and then the agents are capable of using it.
And finally, how to incorporate new workflows to the AI SOC, and how to validate the accuracy and decision-making skills compared to humans?
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, there are no workflows. We do not hard code predefined playbooks. So the way investigation is being executed is based on how the centralized brain decides to execute it, and that's based on the feedback that is getting from the humans, and actually the humans are validating, and this is how we identify how well they are performing. In our security operations centers, one investigation is done and the incident report is being delivered by the agents. If it is a true positive, then it is being further investigated by the customer, and that feedback is being fed into the system, and that's how we record the accuracy of the system as a whole. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ivan Jacobs, for that session. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you are paying attention, and this, more than the morning session, I believe the speakers have a bigger and a more tougher session in the afternoons, especially after lunch. So just want to remind you to please just to hang on for a few more hours, and because our speakers have a valuable line of information for you, which they've prepared and planned for you, so make the best use of it. All right, so let's take a look. We have two corporate videos lined up for you. First, let's take a look at Eagle Eye and Brevo.
You need video surveillance to protect your business, but having cameras just in case there's an incident, it's like having a smartphone just for making phone calls. Your cameras can do way more, so why not get more out of them? With Eagle Eye Network's cloud video management system, you can add next-gen AI features to your existing cameras. Now, your very same cameras can monitor safety conditions, spot intruders, unlock doors, use license plates as parking passes, provide customer insights, and so much more. Looking for someone with a white shirt and a red backpack? Just type it in and see all the footage that matches on any of your cameras, even if you have multiple locations. Want to automatically admit cars with recognized plates? No problem. You can even get alerted if a hot listed vehicle shows up on premises. It's that easy and smart. Save time, save money, save your peace of mind. Eagle Eye Networks means getting more out of your cameras. Because smart video surveillance is so much more than cameras.
Our next speaker brings extensive regional expertise in AI-driven security and access control solutions. Kiran Sona is the head of sales for South Asia at Brevo, where he has spent the past decade driving growth across the region. Having initially led the company's AI vertical, he now oversees a complete product portfolio for South Asia. With prior experience at Amazon and Uncanny Vision, Kiran combines global technology exposure with deep regional market insight. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Kiran Sona on stage.
Esteemed and distinguished members before me, it is a pleasure to be presenting Eagle Eye Networks and Brevo to you all. My name is Kiran Sona. I head sales for South Asia region for Brevo and Eagle Eye Networks. Before I talk a little bit about the products itself, I'd like to spend a minute talking about the electronic security industry today and the delivery model of the electronic security industry itself, and then go into introducing Brevo and Eagle Eye Networks for you all. So, over the last 2 decades, electronic security industry has undergone significant changes, right? And all of these changes have been in the technological advancements, and they have served their purpose. They have served their purpose for the organizations that have that are more yesterday driven, right? And by yesterday driven, I would like to elaborate there the organizations that are not interconnected between the location, that have no reliance on interconnectedness, that are not intelligence equipped today, organizations that are not cybersecurity aware as well, right? These organizations, the electronic security industry today has served their purpose, and it has done a good job. But for the enterprises that are modern in nature, by modern what I mean is the enterprises that are distributed in terms of locations. It could be within the cities, it could be within the state, it could be within a country and across the countries as well, right? These enterprises and organizations are led with the challenges like navigating the compliance landscape itself, where the policies that are set need to be more flexible in nature, right? And these policies are ever changing and stringent if they are not adhered to the compliance itself. And an organization that believes in also keeping up with the rate of innovation that the technology advancements that are taking place today, and to drive the outcome of the business itself, right? To drive better business outcomes, and all of these organizations and enterprises that are looking forward to become more modern, they're all strained with one constraint, and the constraint here is not really the technological advancements. The constraint that we see today is the business model, right? At the core of it, to enable some of these business outcomes itself, what is stopping the electronics security industry today is the business model, right? And what I mean by that is today the electronic security products are sold as a commodity, and while the organizations do purchase, assuming it is the final investment for the for the security division itself, right? In the subsequent months, they come to realize that there is real estate that is needed to put the bulky servers itself, the HVAC that needs to be allocated for these servers. And as you expand, you'll have to also expand your compute that is required. And the humongous power consumption, the HVAC, and the dedicated lease lines that need to be put to make these systems more centrally accessible, to make these systems more accessible in a very distributed fashion as well, right? And it doesn't stop there. There's also lack of innovation in terms of adoption because it is sold as a commodity, electronic security today. What it also leaves behind is that your innovation stops at that point of time, at the time of purchase itself, right? And you are not able to keep up with the innovation itself for the next 5-7 years of the refresh cycle itself, the next purchase cycle. The IT staffing and the year-on-year inflation that catches up, with the IT staffing itself to manage the infrastructure that has been put up for the security systems itself, right? And of course, today all the discussions have also been around cybersecurity, where your security patches are not really taken care until your next AMC date comes into picture, right? Until then, you have your security patches left open. The system downtime, it could be scheduled, it could be unscheduled, leaves the possibility of affected uptime itself. Your theft, fire, that also leaves the liability of having these systems gone away without having a backup anywhere else, right? Which also leaves a very wider legal liability, right? So, it's not just limited to this. The business model of commodity purchase is infrastructure heavy. It is also maintenance bound, and technology upgrade stops in a point of time, right? And for organizations only to realize that capex investment that was made in the purchase of these security devices or electronic security systems is 30-40% of the total cost of ownership of these devices itself, or managing and maintaining these systems itself, right? And that's where Brevo and Eagle Eye Networks comes into picture. We are a true physical security solutions as a service provider. Sorry, just a second. All right. Yeah, the next slide. Okay, all right. Yeah, this is where Brevo and Eagle Eye Networks comes into picture. We are the world's largest true cloud or cloud native physical security solutions as a service provider. What we do here is we offer one security suite that can take your video management system, your physical access control system, your the alarm management system, your visitor management system, and so forth, and put it all in one unified platform, one security suite that serves all of your physical security solutions. And while we do that, the delivery model that we have adopted is the as a service, right? Which essentially is managed services. We make sure that we take care of your data centers, or rather by saying your data centers, your data, and it's our data centers. And it's not just the data centers and everything in between, right? It's the cybersecurity aspects of the data, the privacy aspects of the data, the moving of the data, the servers that is required, the security operations center, so on and so forth. Everything is managed by us, wherein all you need to do is, we retrofit with your existing devices. It could be your existing cameras, it could be your existing readers of physical access control systems, and so forth, right? And we've been doing this for very long. I'll skip some of this, which I've already spoken of. So we've been doing this for very long. We were even, in fact, the first company to do cloud native physical access control system back in 2001, to even bring in the category of as a service for physical access control. This is some of our credentials for Eagle Eye Networks itself. Eagle Eye Networks is a company that was acquired by Brevo about a month ago. So all the video division, the products that come under video division fall under Eagle Eye Networks, and we have our own 14 data centers across the globe these are not AWS or GCP. We are a vertically integrated company. These are our own data centers that we have hosted across the globe, right? With 4 major offices, with presence in about 90 plus countries today. And on our physical access control side, we have 20 million active users. Again, the biggest out there, right? With 450 million square feet already captured, who are live on our system today. And it is a pure SaaS plus IoT platform. And when I say IoT, we are not just limited to offering managed services. We are also a open API platform. So, our system is not the end of it. We can integrate into SOCs. We can integrate into ICCC systems. We can also integrate into multiple other third-party systems that are out there, and it can be made a module out of it. If you'd like to just take our video data, some snippets of the video data, that can be done. Some snippets of the, the physical access control data, absolutely possible, right? So we are a self-hosted cloud, purpose-built. All we look at is we don't do services around software. Rather, we do software services that is only built for security, and security is our first and last stop, right? Native AI, since it's the platform that we manage, you don't have to think of putting GPUs out there, right, at your premises. All of the AI that you want to do, you're one step or one SKU away, right? Our platform is already AI powered. It is powered with both the deep learning models, and it is also powered with the LLMs, the generative models itself. We are cyber secure. A lot of companies, you can sort of say we are a cyber security company for the security suite, right? And global partner ecosystem, it could be solutions across multiple management systems today, right? We already have integrations. It could be AI, Dragonfruit, who just presented today, they are one of our partners. They also integrate with us today, and they offer solutions on top or adjacent to our system itself, right? And we also manufacture hardware, but not necessarily, hardware is a must from us. It could be any cameras, right? When it comes to your video management system, you could have Hikvision, Dahua to Access, Bosch, and so forth. We have all of these cameras, about 8,000 cameras onboarded onto our system already today. And when it comes to readers, we work with any OSDP and weekend readers, right? And it could be the visitor management system as well. We already have a visitor management system, and all of this are in one unified platform. And if the requirement is not just, not to have all of it, but have only 1 or 2 products out there, we could also potentially, give you only the video management system, the cloud-based video management system, or the physical access control systems, right? And since it's all hosted on our own cloud, the other side, on the other side, you don't have to set up ICCCs. Like I said, you don't need servers to be having a client application deployed there to make sure your Windows gets updated, your OS gets updated. It's all, you can open it on your phone, you can open it on your laptop, anywhere, right? And we're talking thousands of cameras. It could be thousands of cameras. You can still do it because it's our data centers that is doing the heavy lifting on the back end, right? And this is at a high level how the systems work, right? You have your cameras. This is specific to video systems itself. You have your cameras at multiple locations, right? And they get networked to what we call a gateway, which is manufactured in Austin in US. And the video data goes to the to our data center, where we have our own GPUs. When I say our own GPUs, the servers are racked with GPUs, racked with storage, and it is infinitely vertical and horizontally scalable, right? And since we are also a third open API provider, third-party AI can come into the system, including the third-party analytics as well, right? 24/7 support. We are camera and reader agnostic, can be accessed from anywhere. Alerts and automation. So everything in one single pane of glass. I think I've taken up 10 minutes of my time. All right. So I'm right outside. We have a booth dedicated for us outside. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take those questions. I'd also be happy to show you the live demo of our system itself. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Kiran, and apologies for my end for interrupting. However, as I'm paid to do my job, I'm forced to stick to time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, up next, I would love to introduce another brilliant speaker as well. Cyber resilience today is no longer just about protecting one organization, it's about protecting the entire ecosystem. Our next speaker leads cyber threat intelligence and detection solutions at ST Engineering, focusing on helping SMEs and interconnected businesses defend themselves against increasingly sophisticated supply chain threats. His work includes deep and dark web intelligence operations and developing scientific frameworks to evaluate cybersecurity effectiveness. He is passionate about making advanced cyber defense accessible, scalable, and practical, especially for organizations with limited resources. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jackie Lim, presenting Elevating Supply Chain Resilience, Scalable Defense for Modern Business.
Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. Thanks for the warm welcome. I'll make sure I'll stick to my time. And it's truly an honor to be here. So much so, in fact, this is my first time in Sri Lanka. With that, before I actually arrived, I was practicing this. Ayubowan. Did I butcher it? Did I get it right? No? Good. Thank you. I hope by the end of the trip, when I leave this place, I sound like a Sri Lankan. Okay, a quick introduction about myself. I wear two hats like what was introduced. I'm a cyber threat intelligence specialist, as well as the division manager that's actually offering cybersecurity services for businesses. So I'll cut my sharing into two, starting off with sharing some of the threat trends that we are seeing across the globe. Okay, with that we dive right in. So over the past decade at ST Engineering, we have been securing all the critical information infrastructure across from aviation, banking, all the way to water, maritime, and so on. We take care of the large enterprises as well as key agencies, even at the national level. But what we are seeing here is a worrying trend. Attacks are no longer, threat actors are looking beyond attacking directly on the key information infrastructure. They are targeting the soft belly of the ecosystem, to the likes of service provider like yourself, even SME, and so on and so forth. So to quote an example, these are just one of it. DBS Bank, I believe you all heard of, is one of the banks in Singapore. While the attack didn't happen to them, the attack actually hit one of their printing providers. So customer informations were actually being leaked because of that. Another use case for the finance sector, income insurance, an insurance company. So likewise, a ransomware actually hit one of their supplier, and then information about their policy holders, regards to their policy holders, was actually being leaked as well. So in fact, this is just a tip of an iceberg. Just last year, I remember before Christmas, I personally attended to one of the case of our customer that got, their supplier got hit by a ransomware. Through investigation, we realized it's actually Crypto24 that actually got the data and actually tried to extort them. So what we realize is, while we see that this is impacting on the small businesses and all that, but it has upstream impact. Why? Because for this case, they actually share technical drawings, emails exchanges, private, confidential information with them. And that data is being leaked and put up on sale on the dark web. So, and when that happened, what happened in the boardroom? It's not so much on the technical part, but the boardroom have to reassess. They have to appraise daily and provide updates to their boardroom. You know, what's the situation, what's the risk, you know, that is happening, and so on and so forth. The video? Okay, maybe you try again. Okay, so in fact, just last week, this news made headlines. Is the video okay? Let's try. Is it all good? If not, I'll narrate through. So what happened was there's a leak that suggests 255 Singapore firms actually linked to critical information infrastructure that was being hit. So this is no longer issues that is theoretical. And what I've just said may seem like it's only relevant or localized to Singapore, but it goes beyond that. We are also seeing this trend globally. Oops. Okay, for the case in 2020, the SolarWinds attack, where 18,000 customers being affected, including government agencies and Fortune 500 companies. Moving forward, in 2021, a ransomware that hit a managed service provider actually exposed their customers to further data breach. And more recently, in 2023, a software got compromised and it actually exposed data, exfiltrate data that is related to the customer as well. So like I said again, these are no longer theoretical. Global supply chain incidents has become operational. So let's do a quick analysis or sharing with regards to how bad is the situation with regards to the SME or the small businesses. Statistically, 80% of SME businesses actually faces breach annually. And out of all these 80%, 99% of them actually suffered business impact. What business impact are we looking at? It could be data loss, business disruption, all the way to financial loss to recovery costs. But if you looked at the number, 91%, 64%, 58%, all this number doesn't add up. Why? Because each organization or most organizations experience repeated cyber incidences. So if you overlay these stats on top of the Sri Lanka enterprise landscape, let's do some questions. So out of the total enterprise in Sri Lanka, 1 million of them, how many percent are small and medium enterprise? Anybody? Make a guess. 99% of them are SMEs. And out of all these 99%, how much are they contributing to in terms of employment? 45%. And while that's said, in terms of annual GDP, the SME actually contribute more than half of the global Sri Lanka annual GDP, 57% to be exact. So while each individual SME may seem small, collectively it is a huge sector that we shouldn't overlook. With that said, then we need to address the challenges and pain points that they're facing. With that said, so things like limited cybersecurity awareness are one of the big problems that they're facing. The other one would be they feel that it is low priority because their business focus, cybersecurity become of a low priority. And when we talk about budgets and resources, often than not, they feel that cybersecurity is expensive. So that's where we work together with SITREK to offer ITER within the Sri Lanka market. So ITER is a suite of cybersecurity offering dedicated and tailored for SME. It includes things like phishing exercise, attack surface management, managed detection response, remote incident response, all the way to CISO as a service. This service is curated with a clear understanding of how attacker works, from reconnaissance all the way to delivery, all the way to the end where they actually act on objectives. But it seems too complex. So how we actually tailor it, we've broken down into 3 key components: pre-compromise, compromise, and post-compromise. Where in the pre-compromise phase, we focus on training, we focus on reducing the attack surface area. Next, we focus in the compromise phase to make sure that we have services to actually help customer mitigate those detection. And lastly, when something really do happen, we are here to support in terms of remote incident response as well as CISO as a service. So I'd like to draw key focus to manage detection and response. Okay, so how we actually do that is over 3 phases. The first phase, we actually do a endpoint threat scanning, hygiene check, to make sure that we mitigate all the risks that could have happened before we go into monitoring. So like daily health check, and make sure that your environment is clean, there's no viruses and all that, before transiting to the second phase where we do the continuous monitoring, where we actually provide 24/7 monitoring, incident support, as well, giving you monthly summary report as well. And at the last part, we also provide incident response planning. In the event something happened, who do you reach out to, who should you call, who should you update, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, this solution aims to provide business, to allow them to be focused with their business, hassle-free, because they don't have to worry about building a team, building the infrastructure or whatnot, and most importantly, is cost-effective as it scales accordingly with your growth of your company. And with that, that's why through the MOC that we have signed earlier on today with SITREK, we hope through ITER we are able to elevate supply chain resilience through Sri Lanka. And to commemorate this day, we are providing a complimentary cyber threat scanning service. Okay, so what this complimentary cyber threat scanning service aims to do is to allow you to identify hidden threats, strengthens your endpoint security, allow you to quickly gain visibility into what are the software being installed in your environment, and so on and so forth, and eventually be able to safeguard your business. Okay, so feel free to scan the QR code and then register and sign up for it, and then we'll follow up. So how does that work? Simply just scan the QR code. You will receive an onboarding package with an installer and a guide, and then after which you will receive the threat scanning report after we do the analysis. So it's a very simple 3-step process. So then the question is, what do I get from the report? So with the report, we provide asset discovery. We curate, or we help you bring together all the information about all the endpoints within your environment, their OS, their IP address, and so on and so forth. For each endpoint, we help you look into things like what are the application being installed. Are there any privileged application? Are there any malicious application? And then with that, the malicious applications get mitigated, removed, and so on and so forth. And lastly, we provide the recommendation to improve your cyber hygiene. Okay, so with that, I'll leave this here. If there's any question, feel free to engage us at the booth. Like you see at the bottom, it's limited slot and limited time only. With that, open up the floor for questions. Yes? It's okay, no worries. Thanks. Is the Slido up? Yeah. So that I can pick up the question. Okay, the first question, let me handle it, no worries. At which stage can organization most effectively stop cyber attack? My answer is as early as possible. And like what my colleague Victor actually shared earlier on, we want to stop it, we want to prevent it as early as possible. We don't want it to even manifest in the environment. So reducing your attack surface area, trying to clean up your application hygiene and so on and so forth, that is the key to making sure that at which stage, at that very stage, that's where we want to address the problem. Not kick the can down the road and then leave it to another person to handle the problem and so on and so forth. Okay.
Right. Our next question. Were you able to tackle
Okay.
this first one?
What is the good response to a ransomware situation? Pay the ransom or not to encourage? Best practice: do not pay the ransomware, because two things. There's no transaction, there's no legal document that can agreement between you and the threat actors. You're at the mercy of the threat actors, and when you pay the money, assuming they give you the encryption, they still have your data, and they would often do double extortion as one of the tactics. They'll use that against you again. So they'll ask you, so do you want to pay more? If not, I'll leak the information. So it's a never-ending situation. So that's one. On the other hand, more strategically, we also don't want to feed the ecosystem. Okay? So, but that's it. In fact, in Singapore, we actually stood up. In fact, it's a public resource. There is a website that allows you to actually try to decrypt the ransomware or the data that has been encrypted with the tools that actually is provided, depending on what ransomware actually attack you. It's a public resource made available by our police force.
Right. What are the most important cybersecurity investments SMEs should prioritize first?
Okay, so why we started off focusing on endpoint, because endpoint is where what we term as the Normandy shore. Attacks happen primarily from the endpoint. So for the likes of introducing malware, because you insert a thumb drive, you actually access a website that is malicious, and then you got hit by a drive-by attack. You click on the link or download an attachment on the endpoint from your email. That's where it enters your environment and then get infected. So that's where that explains why at the bare minimum we need to focus on endpoint, have visibility into it, make sure that it's clean in terms of cyber hygiene, and then make sure that there's someone actually monitoring for you.
All right, moving on into our next question. How can organizations ensure continuous monitoring and detection of threats across their supply chain networks? Okay,
so if you want to monitor your entire supply chain, a lot of time we need to have visibility to it. There's no hard and fast rule. That explains why, because a lot of organizations do not have that visibility, we actually built this offering to serve them, to make sure that we actually secure them, not so much on providing the monitoring for the upstream ecosystem, but to make sure that we elevate the whole cyber security resilience of the ecosystem as a whole.
How can organizations identify hidden cybersecurity risks within their third-party vendors and partners?
Not a straightforward answer to that. Beyond monitoring, a lot of time we have to look into compliance, looked into the assessments of the individual company to understand, how they are actually managing cybersecurity within the organization. That's where, as the engineering, we also have such capability to actually help provide some form of assessment for your supplier, to provide that visibility as to how cyber secure they are, and be able to assess and to consider, would you want to use them as your supplier? If not, advise them, you need to strengthen your cybersecurity before we can actually continue working with you. Okay. I think that's all. If not, feel free to engage us if you have further questions. If you didn't manage to scan the QR code, you can also go to the booth and actually register for the free thread scanning. Okay, if not, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackie Lim, for that insightful session. Our next speaker represents the future of Sri Lankan innovation in robotics and artificial intelligence. Scouts is a homegrown startup pushing the boundaries of autonomous technology, delivering fully automated drone solutions in partnership with SITREK Security Solutions. From enterprise-grade security deployments to supporting Colombo police in emergency response and contributing to environmental conservation efforts, Scouts is transforming how technology enhances safety and operational efficiency. Presenting today is the co-founder and CEO of Scouts, Mr. Kalana Muthumunu. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him on stage. But before that, just as he walks in, let's take a look at their corporate journey.
Good evening. I hope you're all having a great time here. My name is Kalana from Scouts. So, how do you protect your properties today? You might have a guard patrolling the perimeter of your factory or the farmland or your property. You might even have CCTV and motion detectors that are usually monitored by a team of security personnel. And you might even have AI detection software that can identify threats in real time. What if we put a patrolling guard, CCTV, and AI for threat detection all in one? Introducing Scouts, autonomous drones for security patrolling. We have three main functionalities that we are launching in our patrolling drone. We have automated drones for patrolling, thermal and night vision, so you can see better at night, and also AI-based threat detection. When it comes to the drone itself, it does not need a pilot. You don't need to train anybody to fly it. It can go in a preset route frequently. Right now, when you are looking at patrolling frequency, you would have a guard patrolling their estates every few hours. So sometimes it's every 3 hours, 4 hours, but when it comes to our solution, we can get this down to even every 15 minutes. And we also have thermal and infrared cameras that will allow you to see better in the dark and identify threats that the human eye can miss. We also have proprietary AI technology that can identify a variety of threats like fires, open gates to unauthorized access. And we can make your existing CCTV and infrastructure a lot more effective and active in identifying threats by using them as triggers and sending the drone to that particular location to identify what is going on in that particular scenario. We can easily double the frequency of your patrolling. We can initiate a response in under 30 seconds, and the system is available 24/7. This is a sneak peek of what the interface looks like. It's very easy, and with simply just a click, you can send the drone in a preset route, get it to pause, stop, look around, and even return home. We have a range of features that we are releasing with our first version, and one of the more interesting solutions that we will be releasing soon is inspection. So if you have a solar farm, wind farm, or even a structure that needs to be inspected, the drone can do that faster and more effectively. We also have a couple of other drones that are in development. We have one version that is a helium-powered drone that can be used in conservation efforts, especially areas where human-elephant conflict is at its highest. This can be used for mitigation of some of those threats. We also have a fixed-wing drone that can provide long-range patrol that is in development. We have some amazing partners, including SITREK, that has joined in our journey, and we have a research partnership with University of Moratuwa. We also have a few clients like Fairway Holding and CCR that will be using our solution. Apart from the security solution for private businesses, we are also exploring a public safety rollout with the Colombo Police. And we also have a partnerships coming for early warning system for railway collisions when it comes to elephants. The system can identify elephants a few kilometers away, giving plenty of time for the train to stop in time. We are a homegrown startup, bringing you world-class protection at a fraction of the cost. You can see our drone outside here. Please visit us and ask any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kalana, for that session on Scouts is a homegrown startup pushing boundaries. Definitely it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of this session, and we would like to thank all our speakers for joining us today from Sri Lanka and from beyond our borders. Can we have a round of applause because they have taken the effort to be here today, knowing what is happening around the world, to be here, taking that risk. We truly appreciate it. So, and we also thank all our participants. Thank you for joining us today. And we invite you to please join us outside at the booths, because they have the ready-made explanations for you as well. You get to have a one-to-one chat to clear out all your doubts and clarifications. Because once you leave these premises, once you leave these halls, you also have your own duty and responsibility, you know, that you carry forward back on those roads. So I hope you carry something from today and you keep that responsibility with you as you move out as well, because not everyone is well versed in these fields. So the few who are there, you have to make that impact and make sure you carry the flame forward. And on behalf of SITREK, the group of companies, we thank you for joining us today. We have high tea, which has been served at the back of the hall. Have a wonderful evening and have a safe journey back home.